Well, you're addressing this because a lot of people are not as well formed and only kind of limit the understanding of the pro life movement to just one thing. And you were showing us that it is, number one, it is incredibly complex. Two, while we might have facts and statistics and faith on the pro life side, we have to learn how to integrate that better as we accompany people to a better understanding of why we are doing what we're doing to protect the dignity of life. And then thirdly, I'm getting from you that a lot of people might assume things of you and that you're willing to dialogue with them. But one of the things they don't realize is all of the work beyond trying to protect an unborn child. You actually do a lot of work with counseling women who've had abortion. Let's talk about this. And I want you to just share with me your experiences with women who've had an abortion and what can be done to help them.
Yes, Father Leo, it started right from the very beginning. As soon as I had the first encounters with the March for Life and the people there and the folks locally in my parish who were involved in the local pro-life group, right from the start, people who had had abortions came to me and started talking. And of course, all of us who are priests who have served in any capacity in ministry, we know from counseling, from the confessional and so forth, the willingness people do have to bring their hearts before the Lord, open up and admit their guilt and their sins. And it's our great privilege to be, as St. Paul says, ministers of reconciliation. So I began, it was part and parcel right from the start, talking to these people who had had abortions. Now, many of them were speaking about how they had wished that someone would have spoken up, either from the pulpit or to them personally and individually. They had wished that someone would have said more at the beginning. And this is where the ministry of compassionate healing for those that have had abortions and the ministry of actively advocating for the babies really go hand in hand. And because those that have had abortions and suffer that pain, that's part of the pain. Why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't anyone warn me? Why didn't anyone, like Mother Teresa told me, I was privileged to know her while she was alive. She told me, Father Frank, I go to these abortion facilities and I literally take the women by the arm and I pull them away. And I say, we sisters, we want to give you hope and help for you and your baby. And so many of those who suffer the pain of abortion, this is part of their pain. Why didn't anyone be a little bit more strong with me to urge me not to do this? And we learn a lot from those that have had abortions. We learn about how they feel treated, one of the first things I learned, Father, about all these people don't get abortions because of freedom of choice. They get them because they feel they have no freedom and no choice. They feel trapped, abandoned, desperate, afraid, and they feel that there's no one else to help them except the abortionist. That's how they get to the door of the clinic in the first place, not from freedom, but from despair. And then they carry that despair with them afterwards. They come out, they know they killed their baby, they know that. And it's the voices of others who try to reframe that and redefine that and say to them, no, you really didn't kill your baby. You just exercised your freedom of choice. But they know better. And so the forces in our society, whether it's the laws or the courts or the advocates of abortion or those who are pushing politically for the right to choose, they don't realize how much they're hurting these people. They're offending them. They're adding insult to injury. They're speaking to those who have such a deep pain in their heart because they had their baby killed. And they're trying to tell them this is something to celebrate. They have no idea how hurtful and also foolish they sound to the heart of a woman who's had an abortion.